You do not freeze because your English is bad. You freeze because in that exact moment when it is your turn to speak, your brain chooses safety over expression. You understand the question clearly. You know the answer. Sometimes you even prepare the sentence in your head before you begin. But when people look at you and wait for your response, something shifts inside your body. Your heartbeat becomes louder. Your throat feels tight. Your thoughts start running in different directions. And within seconds, the words that felt so clear disappear. Later, when you are alone, the same sentence returns perfectly. Fluent. Natural. Confident. So, the real question is not whether your English is weak. The real question is why your mind shuts down only when you speak in front of others. Most learners believe speaking confidence comes from stronger grammar. They think that if they learn more rules, memorize more vocabulary, and study harder, the fear will disappear. So, they prepare more. They revise tenses. They write notes. They watch lesson after lesson hoping that one day they will feel ready. Yet when a real conversation begins, nothing changes. They still hesitate. They still freeze. That is because grammar is not the real problem. The real problem is the reaction your brain has developed towards speaking. Speaking in public feels like a social risk. Risk of making a mistake. Risk of being judged. Risk of looking less capable. And when the brain senses risk, it does not focus on communication. It focuses on protection. Protection often looks like silence. Until you understand this deeply, you will keep solving the wrong problem. The silent habit that creates freezing. Let me tell you about Sophie. Sophie understood English very well. She could watch interviews without subtitles and follow discussions easily. She read articles smoothly and rarely needed help with meanings. When she was alone, she could speak about different topics without much difficulty. If someone heard her private practice, they would assume she was confident. But in real situations, everything changed. In meetings, she had ideas but stayed quiet. In class, she avoided eye contact so she would not be asked to speak. When someone suddenly called her name and asked for her opinion, her body reacted instantly. Her heart started beating faster. Her breathing changed. Inside her mind, multiple thoughts competed at once. She was not focused on expressing her idea. She was focused on being correct. She checked her grammar while forming the sentence. She searched for perfect words instead of simple ones. In just a few seconds, her flow collapsed. Later at home, she would replay the moment and realize she actually knew what to say. The sentences would come back naturally when no one was watching. That contrast slowly damaged her confidence. She believed she lacked courage. But the real issue was a habit she had built without noticing. Every time she practiced speaking alone, she stopped and corrected herself again and again until the sentence sounded perfect. She thought this was smart practice. In reality, she was training hesitation. And hesitation under pressure becomes freezing. What is really happening inside your brain? When Sophie began to understand what was happening inside her mind, everything started to make sense. The moment she tried to speak in front of others, her brain was not simply forming sentences. It was running a security check. It was asking whether this situation was safe. Humans are deeply wired to avoid social rejection. Thousands of years ago, being rejected by a group meant danger. That survival instinct still exists today, even in something as simple as speaking English. So, when Sophie stood in a meeting and prepared to speak, her brain did not only think about words. It imagined outcomes. What if they notice a mistake? What if someone smiles in a strange way? What if I sound foolish? These imagined threats felt real to her nervous system. And when the nervous system feels threat, it activates protection. Muscles tighten. Breathing changes. Thoughts become scattered. This is not a language failure. It is a stress response. The biggest misunderstanding most learners have is this. They believe confidence comes first and speaking comes after. In reality, speaking creates confidence. Confidence is not a requirement for action. It is a result of repeated safe experiences. Sophie was waiting to feel ready before speaking. But readiness never came because she never trained her brain to feel safe while speaking imperfectly. There was another hidden mistake she was making. All her English exposure was passive. Listening, reading, watching. These activities improve understanding, but they do not build real-time expression. Speaking is a physical skill. It requires coordination between thought, breath, voice, and timing. If you do not practice that coordination regularly, your brain treats it as unfamiliar territory. And unfamiliar situations always feel uncomfortable. Once Sophie realized this, she stopped blaming her grammar. She stopped labeling herself as shy or incapable. Instead, she asked a better question. How can I train my brain to feel safe while speaking imperfectly? That question changed everything for her. And the answer was much simpler than she expected. The shift that changed everything. Sophie did not fix her freezing by learning advanced grammar. She fixed it by changing how she practiced speaking. Instead of trying to sound perfect, she decided to train flow. The rule she created for herself was simple. Speak for 2 minutes every single day without stopping. No correcting. No restarting. No judging. If she made a mistake, she continued. If she forgot a word, she explained it in another way. The goal was not accuracy. The goal was continuity. At first, it felt uncomfortable. Her sentences were not clean. Sometimes she repeated words. Sometimes she used simple vocabulary. But something important began happening inside her brain. Because she did not stop when mistakes happened, her brain slowly stopped treating mistakes as danger. Each time she survived 2 minutes of imperfect speaking, her nervous system learned that nothing bad actually happened. After a week, she noticed she hesitated less. After 2 weeks, she recovered faster when she forgot a word. After a month, something powerful changed. She no longer felt that heavy pressure in her chest before speaking. The fear had not disappeared completely, but it had reduced enough for her to continue talking instead of shutting down. Then she added another step. She started recording herself. Not to criticize. Not to judge. Just to observe. She listened calmly and noticed patterns. Small grammar improvements happened naturally over time because she was speaking more. Fluency came first. Accuracy followed. This is what most learners get wrong. They try to perfect accuracy before building fluency. But fluency is built through movement, not through stopping. The brain learns confidence through repetition under safe conditions. Sophie did not become fearless. She became familiar. And familiarity reduces fear. The mindset that builds real confidence. There is something you need to understand clearly. Confidence is not a personality trait. It is a trained response. When your brain experiences something repeatedly without negative consequences, it reduces its fear response. The more you survive imperfect speaking, the more normal it feels. The more normal it feels, the less your body reacts with stress. Freezing is not a sign of low intelligence. It is a sign of overprotection. Your brain is trying to save you from embarrassment. But embarrassment is not danger. A small mistake in grammar will not destroy your future. A mispronounced word will not erase your abilities. Most people are too focused on themselves to analyze you deeply. When you shift your focus from sounding perfect to expressing meaning, something powerful happens. Communication improves. People respond to clarity, not perfection. They care about understanding you, not grading you. The moment you accept that mistakes are part of growth, your brain stops fighting itself. Sophie did not wake up one day magically confident. She trained confidence. She built it sentence by sentence, minute by minute. She stopped asking, "Am I correct?" She started asking, "Am I communicating?" That shift changed her identity. She was no longer someone trying to avoid mistakes. She became someone practicing expression. And once that shift happens, freezing slowly loses its power. English was never your real obstacle. The habit of perfection was. When you train flow daily, confidence grows naturally. Not because you became perfect, but because you became brave enough to continue. If you see yourself in Sophie, understand this. You are not behind. You are not incapable. You simply trained the wrong pattern. And patterns can be changed. The moment you stop waiting to feel ready and start practicing imperfectly, your brain begins to adapt. Speaking becomes less threatening. Words begin to come faster. Silence loses its control over you. The solution is not more knowledge. The solution is better practice. Starting today, speak for 2 minutes without stopping. Do not correct yourself. Do not judge yourself. Just continue. Comment flow if you are ready to train confidence instead of chasing perfection. Subscribe if you want to build real speaking strength step by step. Like the video and press the bell icon to get all the video updates. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.